Okay, well, it's 11 o'clock and nice to see all of you on here today. My name is Cathy Fowler. I manage Catalina Title, which is partners with Keller Williams. And we've been in partnership with you since 2004. We love working with you guys. So we're kind of your in-house title company. And today we're going to go over Life of an Escrow. But first, I would love it if you guys would all, going to have Lindsay and Colleen introduce themselves, but then if everyone else could introduce themselves too and tell us just a little bit about you, that'll help us in the class. So Colleen, you want to go first?
Awesome. Yes, I think I know everyone in the room. I've met Tina and I have an appointment Thursday, I believe. Thursday, and Nicole and I have met, and of course Colin and I have. So Cathy Fowler is our county manager. You're going to love the wisdom and experience that she brings to these classes. So anytime you see her on the calendar, jump in, because she's definitely a wealth of information. So I'm ready to enjoy the class too.
All right.
Hello, everybody. Hi, good morning. My name is Lindsay Crane. I handle the agents over at the COLA or the KLP office. So too many meetings this morning, sorry, at the COLA office, but I am actually a former KW agent. So my heart, I have a special place for you guys in my heart. And Cathy she's an amazing wealth of knowledge, and I'm excited to sit through this class as well. I feel like I learn something new every time I take one of her classes. So glad to have you all here and continuing to educate yourself, and obviously reach out to us if you need anything.
Okay, would you guys like to introduce yourselves? And please, that's embarrassing, so don't say anything nice about me. And just talk about you. Tina?
Sure. Hi, I am Tina Ochoa. I'm new to Keller Williams, very, very new, and new to the real estate industry. I came from hospitality, and so I've been able to join on calls and join in the family reunion over the past few weeks. So it's been a lot of fun, and I'm excited to really get started here in the next few weeks. So thank you, and looking forward to meeting with you, Colleen.
Yay. Yeah. It's a good time to be in the real estate business. Well, it's hard, but it's lucrative.
I've always wanted to be in it. So I'm just excited of the past year, because it's really set me in the path where I've been looking to go for a long time. So it's exciting.
Yeah, great. Well, glad to meet you. And Nicole?
Yeah, I've been with Keller Williams 2.5, almost 3 years now, up in Montana, and then just moved down here like 1.5 years ago and got my license in December here. So.
All right. And Cullen?
Yeah, hi. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my AirPods connected. I've been here for, let's see. Oh, now I got the webcam cover going. There we go. I've been here for let's see, since about 1 year now, a little over 1 year. Started here in last January, and it's been great so far, and just want to brush up on. Let's see.
All right. Well, great.
On Escrow a little bit.
All right. So I'm going to share my screen, and what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to explain to you that Catalina Title is a title-only company. So what that means is that we do the research on the property and the seller and the buyer, looking for easements, restrictions, liens, ownership, and we issue a preliminary title report or title commitment. They're same thing, interchangeable words. That's what we do, and then we also do the recording of the documents to get it into the new owner's name and issue the title insurance policy. So I'm going to go through that on Life of an Escrow on the form. But then our escrow partner is Title Security, and they have 70 or 50 to 70 escrow officers all over Pima County at 17 branches. They handle the money, they do the signings, they pay off any liens that are on the property, or and they follow the rules of the contract. They're a neutral third party that follows the directions from the contract and from the preliminary title report. So I'm going to share my screen and go through this, and how you use this is you put down on your contracts or listings, title security / Catalina. You don't have to put the slash, but we both have to be on there in order for the escrow officer to know whether or not to send the title work to us or her own title department. All right, and share screen. Let's see if this works. I think I got it. Okay. So everyone can see the flyer on the screen? All right, and these flyers too, like this is on our website. So if you need a copy of it for after the class, you can just go on to catalinatitle.com and grab it. So, so this is how you get through your escrow. And typically when you open the escrow, these are the items that we ask for. And you open escrow at title security with your escrow officer. So we need a fully executed purchase contract. So that means that all the counter offers, all the addendums, everything has to be included with the contract. And you can email that over to the escrow officer. We also need the contact information for the seller and the buyer. We need your contact information as well, but we need the seller and buyer because we're going to be sending stuff to them. And so emails and postal addresses and telephone numbers are really helpful. Some agents, there's room for it on the contract, but some agents don't put it on the contract. So if you don't, just email it into the escrow officer. Also, we need their earnest money check. So if the buyer is putting earnest money down, which they typically do, we'll need that to open the escrow. That can be dropped off or we can pick it up at the escrow office. And it's made out to title security since, again, they're the ones who handle the money. That check can be a personal check. That is really the only time that a personal check can be used during the transaction. And then these, we also have to have the new lender information. So if the buyer is obtaining a loan, then we need to know who the new lender is going to be. I think it's called the LSR or, and so we need a copy of that. A copy of the MLS, the multiple, the Tucson Association of Realtors MLS listing is really helpful also, but it's not mandatory. It helps us to make sure that we're dealing with the right property. And then we also have to have, just like you guys, your broker has to have in your file a copy of that affiliated business disclosure. We also need a copy of it in our files per state banking rules. So number 2, this still happens at title security. They deposit the earnest money check. So if you're new to this business, it's good to let your buyer know that it's not going to sit in a file. It will be put in the bank right away. So they need to make sure they have the funds to back that money up, that check up. And escrow will order the title report. So just kind of to let you know, if you use a company that has both title and escrow, escrow never does the title work. It's always a different department. So they will order the title report from Catalina Title if you've put us down on the contract. And they open right away, they order that from us after escrow is opened. And then the buyer and seller are sent informational packets to complete. They need to complete them and return them. Those are sent to them from escrow. And it's asking that you're not going to see these. So just to let you know what they're asking for is they're asking for, how does the buyer want to take title to the property? Who's their hazard insurance going to be with? They might be asking the sellers, what liens do you know about on the property? And what is your social security number so that we can call for payoff, those kind of things. So they're going to be asking for that. And then escrow begins to order payoff information, and the homeowners association, all the bylaws and the documents that they get from the HOA. So they start to follow up on the things that are needed to close the transaction. Now, number 3 is what starts to happen at Catalina Title. We research the property and the seller and buyer's names, and then we issue the prelim or the title commitment. Now, what we do is we research the Pima County Recorder's Office documents, because anything that has been, any deeds, any easements, any liens, all those things get recorded with the Pima County Recorder. So we research the property to see what is still outstanding, what needs to be cleaned up in order to close this transaction. And then we put together that title report. And typically from us, once we've received the order for it, then we're going to get it back to everyone within 2 to 3 days, typically. Sometimes it takes a little longer if it's a really difficult property where we're searching for access, but typically we can get them done pretty quickly. Then back at title security, once the escrow officer receives a copy of that preliminary title report. Now, just so you know, escrow usually sends a copy of that prelim out to the agents, but so does Catalina Title. So Catalina Title is sending it out to your buyer, your seller, both agents, the lender, and escrow. We send it out to everyone, and it's sent out encrypted. It is law that we have to send those encrypted. So please, I know it's scary to get these weird emails, you know, from a source and open them, but we do send them encrypted. So keep your eye open for emails from Catalina Title that are encrypted so that you can open and read those preliminary title reports, as well as your buyer and seller. Now, so escrow, when they get it, they look at it to see if anything needs to be cleaned up. But the agents and the buyer also need to be looking at the title report. The buyer needs to look at it because they're going to be subject to the restrictions. They're going to be subject to any easements on there, maybe a well site agreement or a road maintenance agreement or a homeowners association, taxes. So there's certain things that the buyer is subject to, and they should review the title commitment or prelim when they get it. They only have 5 days to cancel based on the items in that per your contract. So it's really important that they review these. So escrow starts to clear the items. So let's say escrow can easily clear up the deeds of trust once they have the seller's information. They can clear up loans. But let's say one of your sellers has deceased and we're asking that a probate be started. Then escrow is going to contact the listing agent and say, you know, your one of the sellers has deceased. We need to get a probate started. And you can ask escrow to call the seller directly if you want. But they always call you first because they want to, you know, they honor that relationship between you and your client. But please, if you're not understanding what they're saying and you'd rather escrow explain it to them, you can just ask escrow, can you call my seller directly? Excuse me. They're also going to gather all the things that the contract says has to happen, like the termite report, the hazard insurance. And there's several kinds of insurance that come when you buy a home. One is the hazard insurance. That's what insures, like you have a fire or a theft or, you know, something like that. Homeowners insurance insures your title to the property. Like you're the owner, nobody else has an interest, no one else has a lien. And then there's the home warranty that insures like your appliances, your air conditioning, maybe some pool, swimming pool things. So those are the 3 kinds of insurance. So escrow will follow up on these. They'll get payoff information If there's any repairs being done and they need to pay them through escrow, they'll get those invoices. If there's a home warranty called for, they'll follow up on that. And they'll follow up with a new lender to get the loan package as well. And escrow, your escrow officer is such a valuable relationship. I don't know if it was the same way in Montana, but in Arizona, like that is an agent's best friend is your escrow officer. And because they're going to help you through all your transactions from beginning to end. And you want to make sure you have someone that's a good fit for you and that they, you can rely on them. And so one of the things that's happening right now, because it's such a seller's market, that most of the sellers right now are in charge. They're in control of the transaction. They're in control of where it goes and how much the price is and who pays for what. So I recommend that on your listings, you put down Title Security / Catalina with the escrow officer that you like, because in most cases, right now during the seller's market, the buyer's agent is going to write whatever you put in that, in that listing. They're going to put down in whatever you requested in your listing. That is what they're going to put on their contract when they're writing the contract, because they're trying really hard to get their buyer that home and competing with others. So escrow will, once they get the loan documents, if there's a loan in the transaction, once they get the loan documents, they prepare what's called a settlement statement. And that settlement statement shows what they're going to be paying off, how much money is coming in, how much money your buyer needs to bring in to closing, and how much, the commission. It'll just show all the finances, what money is coming in, what money is going out. And at that point, that is when the signing appointments are set up with your buyer and seller. Your buyer will be advised how much money to bring in, and they will need to either wire that in or bring a cashier's check. And wire fraud is so rampant these days. You need to be really careful. And let your buyer know to be really, don't wire anything without you making sure that it's really the escrow company that is advising it, because there's been several wires that have gone out to just people have somehow found emails, hacked into emails, seen this transaction going on. That's one of the reasons why we encrypt. And then they'll send wiring instructions to your buyer, and your buyer wires the money and never to be found again. Sometimes we've heard of people losing $70,000 because they wired it to, a crook. So they'll need good funds though to go ahead and close the transaction at that point. Good funds law just means that it doesn't wait 7 days to get in the bank like a personal check. Okay, so once that happens, then the buyer and seller meet with the escrow officer separately to sign the documents. Now, it's not a normal world right now. Hopefully it will be again someday, but the buyer and seller a lot of times are doing courtesy signings, and our partner Title Security doesn't charge for those. The courtesy signers will go out to keep people safe, during the pandemic. So many of the other companies are charging for those courtesy signers. So that is a great benefit to our partner. And then once the documents are signed, the escrow team sends the documents back to the lender to review, to make sure they were done right, that everything got signed. And then the lender releases the funds. So if they're loaning $150,000, that's when they release the funds to escrow. And once escrow has the funds, then they'll let Catalina Title know that we can go ahead and record the new deed into the new buyer, to the new owner, and any other documents associated with the transaction, like the loan, the deed of trust that secures the loan. So they'll let us know to record. We update the property to make sure there's no new judgments or anything like that that will affect your buyer. And we'll record them with a Pima County recorder. And at that point, that is when ownership transfers. It doesn't transfer at signing. It transfers at recording. Once it's of public record is when the ownership transfers. And that is at the same time, then the escrow unit will fund the file. And that's when you get your commission check. That's when the seller gets their proceeds, and all the liens get paid off at that point. And the repair bills, everything gets paid off right after recordation. The part is that everyone's notified of recordation, and then the keys are exchanged between. Escrow used to hold the keys, but we can't do that any longer. So the keys get exchanged by the agents themselves. And disbursement happens, like I said, all the funds are dispersed to everyone who is owed money, including the seller and the agents. And then back at Catalina Title, we issue the new owner's title insurance policies. So they get a copy of their policy in the mail. And then usually the seller pays for the buyer's title insurance policy. And the buyer pays for the lender's title insurance policy. In this market right now, I have no idea what's going on. Sellers could request that the buyers pay everything, and probably get away with it. So that's probably a negotiable, more of a negotiable item right now than in the past. So that is it for life of an escrow. Is there any questions? No questions? Super quick class, right? Now what's that?
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. I hope that
Appreciate
kind
it.
of makes sense. And
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, I think, and just kind of an FYI too, like about 80% of the deals that open close. That's a pretty standard, rate of closure. So don't spend your money before recordation, because about one in 5 deals fall through. And yeah, the only thing better than opening escrow is closing escrow. So, all right, well, I know it was a short class. We can set up another class to go over how to read a preliminary title report for next time and go through like what that looks like for you guys. And then hopefully you'll come back.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Okay.
All right, you too.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Have a good one. Thanks, Kathy.
Bye, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome. Thank you. I thought about doing the other part, but I was like, they were thinking they're just getting this, so.
Well, and I like too that I think that they're more prone to come back to the next class too, because you value
true.
the time,
Yeah, that's true. Like a quickie.
Yeah. Yep. Awesome.
Short and sweet. Honestly, it's perfect because when you're like going through timelines and stuff like that, it's all they can handle right now.
That's true.
Especially if they haven't gone through the process and done a transaction yet. It's
Yeah.
like, okay. So
Lindsay, you took your things out already?
my extension, yeah, they were just clip-ins.
Oh, just okay.
I think I have like one picture
Oh my gosh,
Okay.
send it.
that I
Yeah.
took while I was getting ready. I'll just show you guys while I'm on here.
Okay.
But I wore it like off to the side. So this is like before I was even like in my dress, but
Oh my gosh. Wow.
yeah. So it was they were long and all just kind of hanging out over here.
Very cool.
Spent way too much time getting ready. I swear. I did my own
Did you
makeup.
curl your own hair? Did you?
No, I actually, Kelly, my hairdresser was there because she did the bride's hair. So,
Oh, poor
but
thing. She had to work.
Yeah, I did my own makeup and I don't wear like foundation and stuff, but I did for the day. And I'm like, this crap takes too long. Like, I don't know why like girls like put all this effort in. Like, But of course I would like do a little bit and then I would stop and like help the bride do something.
You look like you look like you do a lot of effort. Thanks a lot. Now it makes me feel like crap.
I like,
I
it
must
was,
be doing it wrong.
no, you guys stop it. Stop. But anyway, yeah, I'm like, I can't, like, I don't know how people do that every day. Like, cause there are like, if I was like an Instagrammer or something, I would get ready. But yeah. It was a blast though. And it was like kind of, you know how they say like you don't really remember your big day. Like I remembered my wedding, but this, I had so many duties. And like I had the bride, like she was not a bridezilla by any means, but like I kind of just took on all the responsibility. So I'm like thinking about it, I'm like, I wonder what everybody else was doing while I was like flittering off like it was intense, but it was
That's funny.
beautiful. It was a beautiful one.
Yeah.
So thank you, Colleen, for taking care of my peeps. Hopefully there wasn't anything. Seemed like it was a pretty slow day because I was still getting the emails that were coming in. So
Yep,
but
pretty
thank you
quiet
for covering.
with the holiday.
Yeah.
I think people took advantage of it, even though there wasn't a rodeo.
Yeah, no, all the kids were off. So people
Right.
were still, they'd already planned, their time off around it. So
Yeah.
So,
Okay. I
Alright.
got an interesting email last night. This will probably mean more to Colleen, but it kind of freaked me out a little bit. I got an email last night from Neil Gully, who represents our ownership for Title Resources. And so it said, "Hi, Kathy, with Bruce Jacobs moving on, do we know who would execute this document?" They're updating their underwriter contract. It's no big deal. Anyway, so it's in a string of emails, okay? So I look down through the string and it started on February 11th to a bunch of people, including Tommy. And then,
Sullivan?
yeah. And then Tommy used to own Title Security and he was a 50, so Title Security, he wasn't the only owner of Title Security, but Title Security owned 50% of Catalina, which they sold, through to First American. Anyway, so then they send an email to Tommy saying, "Hey, I'm following up regarding the email below. This was yesterday. Can you please return the signature page?" And then Tommy says, "I'm not the manager of Catalina Title at the moment. I hope to be next month." Yeah, that was my reaction, Colleen. I was like, and it says, "Long story, sold to Fatco and my contract expired. However, I believe I'm to be reinstated." I about fell out of my chair.
Wow.
So anyways, and then that was the end of that. And then I just, I kind of flipped out for a minute.
Right?
FYI, I quit if you're not my boss.
I was
I'm just throwing it out there.
I just was like, "Wow, it's fine." But then I was trying to figure out, well, why, how, why, how does that work?
It doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't make any sense to me. But then I started thinking, now Tommy owns our accounting and HR company that we contract with, Linda and Brenda. That's fine. That doesn't mean he would be our signer. And then he owns Pima Title, that's partners with First American. But then I was thinking about this whole thing with Aaron Wilson and Anthony. And I was like, I wonder if it has anything to do with that. So I don't know. But anyway, after I settled down, I told my husband, I said, if this is real, like I'm going to start looking. And he goes, me too. So,
Your husband, me too.
me too. So then I settled down and I was like, oh, okay. It probably won't make any difference. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter.
He wasn't really involved before.
No, I don't
The
know.
only time he was involved was when he wanted us to buy golf tickets.
Right, which was really good because it gave it to our customers.
Right?
Yeah, golf. Or the one time that he came in, I think it was probably freaked me out more because he came in 6 months ago or whatever and wanted us to be the test site for his policy. Anyway, some company he had, and I told him no, and he was really upset. And I think, and that's the last time we spoke, and he was like, really like ticked off that I wasn't willing to do that Catalina wasn't going to do that. So anyway, so that's, I think, what got me. I was like, that wasn't a good way to leave a relationship. And then I was going to go back into it. So I was like, anyway, it's fine. It's fine. It was just kind of funny. So more will be revealed.
We
See what
shall
happens.
see.
We shall see for sure. So, all right. Well, I don't know. Did you have any more discussion, Colleen, with Lauren Moore?
No, I called, but I left a message.
Okay. I don't know what we want to do, you know.
I know.
I think I would just tell her the truth. Like, here's the deal. You know, we really love if you, she's not going to send them to us, but we would really
Right.
love if you would consider at least doing some of your transactions with us.
Right. Right. That's the feel I get too, Kathy, from the conversation I had with her before, is that as long as she didn't have to leave Cindy, she'd be happy to work with us. But yeah, but I'll see what, it can't hurt. So,
Yeah.
I have my first
Cindy.
in-person appointment with Donna Peterson on Thursday. She's gonna do an in-person meeting. I'm very excited. It's the first one I'm gonna have with her.
Oh, cool. In the office.
Yeah, Donna and Cindy are gonna come meet a couple agents. You probably, Colleen, you know them, probably Claudia and Tressa. They've been there for a little bit.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to marry them to somebody because they're like, we don't really use anybody in particular. So they have a lot of Spanish speaking clients, and Cindy, who they brought in from California, speaks Spanish. So I'm trying to get them to jive with Donna and Cindy and have them use her all the time. So
Trisha Hooper shared an email that Donna sent to her and Lisa about the FATCO program that they're switching over to in Escrow, the first
You mean
AM.
fast, the
Fast.
software fast. Uh-huh.
Fast. And they're trying to close everything out in SoftPro. But everything they've opened since February 9th has been in the new program, and it looks a whole lot different to the clients on what they get. So she's going to do she's going to work with admin at Coldwell Banker, and probably do something maybe at an office meeting for Coldwell Banker Foothills. But she wasn't sure how to do that with the single agents at Tierra Antigua and the teams at KW. And I suggested that she do an introduction email that she could create one email talking about things that are going to look different, and ask them if she would like the people with teams to reach out to the team and do like a Zoom presentation on what's going to look different in that program.
So Trisha's doing all those?
Trisha's doing all
All of
Donna.
those?
Donna.
Who's doing it? Trisha?
Donna.
Oh, Donna, because
Yeah.
you said Trisha sent the email, so.
Right. Well,
Okay.
Trisha forwarded me the email.
Oh, okay, so Donna's just gonna meet with all her clients.
Yeah.
Okay, Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she
cool.
said that it was very, Donna, very stressful. You know, that, I mean, we're hearing that from all the escrow units that
Yeah.
I use for that. So,
Well, it's stressful here too, because we're not connected now.
Right.
We're not
Oh.
connected.
oh,
We're not
wow.
connected. Yeah. So, because we're not going to ever be on fast. So the orders come in different. We've had to do
Oh, is
things.
that why they're coming in so differently? Like
Yes.
that weird, oh. I was like, why are all of Donna's orders coming in so weird? Okay, that makes
So they're
sense.
all coming in. Those are fast. So we have several units already on that. And the orders come in differently. And then they're not in our system. So like Rowan would have to put them in herself. Or so what we've worked out is that Rowan gets the orders from a department called EPS. I think they might be in Phoenix. And then once Rowan gets the orders, she emails it back to ESP, and ESP is inputting them in. They have access to our system. We've given them access to our system, and they're re-inputting them into our system. So
That's good. At least she doesn't have to do it. One
well,
more thing.
yeah, and we were really worried that they were going to be super slow and coming back and everything. And thank God Rowan is so on top of things. She keeps track of all of them to make sure they come back timely. She said all of them are coming back within an hour or two.
Oh,
Because
Oh,
if we had to input them all,
nice.
that would be like an extra 15 minutes per order. And we don't have the time for that. So that's what's happening with that. Yeah. And as time goes on, more and more. And then eventually we're probably going to change software to a program called Resware. Supposedly it's better, but it's another change that, you know, everyone will have to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're really, so what the agents are getting is so different. Like what's different? There are settlement statements and stuff?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea.
Interesting. Okay.
I'll let you know if I see anything weird. Like I'll have Hugh tell me. But I mean, agents don't really get anything until the settlement statement from escrow. I mean,
I know.
so I'm curious to know what the agent, like what's, yeah.
So different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to get something to eat and I have a 1 o'clock. So,
All righty. Have a great day, ladies.
all right. Bye.
Bye.